Like, what's going on? Can somebody help me? I've been sick.
Yeah, I think a divorce is about to happen or is imminent. There were days I thought there's no way Steve Kerr is leaving this. And the grown man that I am, father of 3, leads me to believe if this thing was so easy as I think it should be after umpteen years, why the hell has nothing happened? And now I'm putting on my spidey senses, guru vision. I just believe this. I hope I'm wrong, partner. And I told Willard, Dibbs, and Evan this yesterday in the crossover. I really believe the employer, Joe Lacob, or the Lacobs want out. Steve Kerr's kind of hanging on, and there's some mandates that Steve needs time or is uncomfortable with, and that's the only explanation you can give me to make this make sense. This was supposed to be one-stop shop. Pop, bang, bang, Steph, Dre, I'm coming back. Now Wendy has entered his name into the ring. Brian Windhorst, ESPN, saying, oh, this is about money and $17 million. They don't want to keep paying $17 million when the team is like, we're a couple days away from Game 7, NBA lottery, Sunday. Make this make sense.
Well, I don't think it matters.
I understand that, but make this make sense. Why the delay? And Willard Dibbs, and again, I'm speaking for, and Evan, it is just kind of uncanny. Nobody's wrong because we don't know, but you asked me, I'm asking you, I'm throwing it back. I don't know, and I got to believe Lacob is kind of like, I'm next up maybe. Next up.
See, I don't look at it as the Lacobs may want Steve out. I look at it as though I don't think they want to hire another coach. Like, I don't.
Okay, so then it would be done. Well, Steve, you're our guy. What?
So they're trying to have it maybe both ways, where Steve comes back and he's more of the coach that they want him to be. If there's some issues.
So again,
let me ask you a question.
I'm excited to see you. So you're saying Steve's got to change something?
Probably, yeah.
See, I don't like. What would it be?
Well, apparently it's not so egregious that he didn't walk away from negotiations.
Well, I'll give you that.
So,
but what about Monty Poole? And I brought this up yesterday.
I mean, everybody's got an opinion. Okay, somebody's going to be wrong. Right.
Somebody's going to be wrong. Do you think Joe's had these thoughts of getting rid or jettisoning Steve Kerr in the past?
Not really. I don't think it ever got close.
Because it would have got out, right?
I don't know if it would have gotten out, but I mean, when was Steve Kerr going to be fired by Joe Lacob? There's no way Joe Lacob was going to fire Steve Kerr.
Right.
This is as close as it's ever going to get to a firing if he doesn't come back. But even that's not considered a firing. It's just considered two parties going in different directions.
What would you give me for this? And, Evan and I were having fun. True Detective Season 1, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. If there was friction, why would Joe finally give in and give away Kamenga? By all accounts, Kerr wasn't, that. I feel like Kerr won in a sense, and the owner backed him up by, signing off on that trade. So that shows me they were on the same page, right?
I don't think Kamenga matters in this grand scheme of things. I just don't. If Joe Lacob loved Kamenga to the point where he didn't want to trade him, he could have not traded. Well, he traded him. No,
but he changed his mind, and I was like, he did. To me, that was symbolic of he was doing it for the coach.
Well, no, maybe he got convinced that Kamenga wasn't going to happen here. In any event, I don't think Kamenga factors in right now to.
Well, I was using that point to make it seem like Kerr and Lacob were tight. Everything was good. Like, I feel like Joe did Kerr and Steve a solid by getting, shipping Kamenga out. And
okay, but he ships Kamenga out, and then what? What does that have to do with Steve's status?
Well, again, at that point, I thought Kerr kind of won, wink, wink, to where his owner backed him up and got rid of the headache for Steve. And now you're telling me in the same vein, Steve's going to be gone because the coach doesn't want him here. That's why I'm saying I was so confident that he's not leaving. Steve.
Just because they traded Kamenga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's much bigger than that. I don't think.
But how big and where are you at with, what carries the most weight? Why are we here? There's got to be some friction.
Of course. And there's uncertainty. Steve Kerr's uncertain if he wants to coach the team, and they're uncertain if they want to have Steve Kerr be the coach. Here's what I think they're really running up against. And I'll put this out to Warrior fans. Who's going to coach if not Steve Kerr? And this is where I'm trying to really rack my brain. And this is where I think the Warriors are in a position where they may have to bite the bullet. I don't see a guy replacing Steve Kerr and significantly improving the situation.
So that
like
makes
whoever
it's
coaches.
personal.
What do you mean?
You missed a therapy session. Dibs, Willard, again, Evan, I keep going there. We brought up relationships, Donnie, and when you leave and how you leave. My thing is, I've heard and I've been told and I believe you never stay in a relationship because you're afraid of starting over or finding somebody else. So shame on the Warriors if they're like, doesn't make it right.
But people do it all the time.
But Donnie, there would be a line around the corner if the Warriors wanted to move off Kerr, for them not to stay with Kerr because they're afraid of or nervous about trying to find somebody to fill the void.
Who can fill the void? I mean, who? Okay, Jerry Stackhouse, Terry Stotts.
Well, I would ask you, who do you want to fill the void? We would start there.
Well, that's the point. I mean, they may be in a position where they're not really going to have a list of great candidates.
Okay, so if you're right, then what's taking? So, all right, Steve, you're our guy. Let's go.
Maybe it's money. Like
I'm not saying you're wrong.
You make it sound like it should be easy. Why? Like you thought Durant's decision should be easy. It wasn't. Like these are difficult decisions. Steve Kerr's got to decide whether he wants to coach this team for the next 2 years, working under Joe Lacob, who's still in some maybe delusional mindset that they're still a competitive.
But it's two different questions, partner.
Would you want to work with a boss that thinks you're going to win a championship in the next 2 years?
I love that.
Okay.
And I'm giving you that.
Like, I don't understand why you think it's easy.
Because there's a B side to it. Does the employer want you back? You're telling me from Steve Kerr's standpoint, and it's legit. But what if it's the B side where the employer doesn't want Kerr back?
Well, then they can tell him to beat it.
Okay.
But they're not.
Okay.
So there's uncertainty.
Or are they worried about bad PR because he's been here so long and he means so much to people that they got to find whatever they're trying to not
Do you
push
think
them
the
out?
Warriors are taking all this time? Or is Steve Kerr taking all this time? I think Steve Kerr's taking all this time.
It fluctuates. It varies for me. Seriously, 3 days ago, I'm thinking it's one way, and then 3 days now I'm back here. I got to be honest. If they told Steve Kerr you need to change some stuff about your personality, that's a deal breaker, or that's something I would need some time. And I got to be honest, if Steve didn't know or was uncommitted, Joe Lacob, I'm like,
well, he's clearly not uncommitted.
Hey, we're going to give you Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte, 48 hours, and we need a decision. That's how I look at it. If it were Steve taking the time.
Why is there a rush for you?
Because you're our coach, and if we need a new coach, we want to start that coaching search now.
The Pelicans don't have a coach right now.
But where were the Warriors? 4-time champs.
That doesn't work anymore, Chief.
You've been here since 2014.
That doesn't work anymore, Chief.
Hey, you know what and I love you, man. You can't tell me I'm wrong, and you're not trying to, but nobody knows. Now you're saying
looking
it's
at
money.
I'm not saying anything about money.
20 minutes, a couple minutes
what
ago,
are you talking about?
Like, it could be money.
It could be money. It could be anything. I don't understand why, it's not, it's not simple. Yeah. I don't understand why you can't, it's clearly complicated. There's clearly a lot of things going on. And, it's easy for you to say, well, if they're telling Steve Kerr to change, he should tell him to beat it. Well, we don't know that they're asking him to change to that.
But that's drastic. But you know what I mean? Like, you kind of know who a guy
lose the politics. Lose the politics, Steve.
Wow.
Okay.
Then
say yes or no.
Then he's the reason for the delay then. Because that would be something that would send me to the lab and really have to ponder.
What I think is the biggest issue for Steve Kerr, and I'd like to know what Warrior fans think at 888-957 9570. To me, the biggest misgiving that Steve Kerr has, how do I know this? I don't. We're all just talking, is he knows how Joe Lacob is, and I don't think he wants to coach for an owner that has expectations that he feels are unrealistic. And Steve Kerr, I got to believe, is thinking, why should I coach here for 2 more years with this synthetic standard of 5 years ago that we're no longer a part of? It's like, why did Bob Myers leave? To me,
he told us why.
To me, it's because he saw that things were coming to an end. Lacob didn't want to have anything to do with it and wasn't ready. And I think we're at the same point with Steve Kerr 4 years later.
But you left out Myers told the world that working for Joe was overbearing.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Steve Kerr does not want to go into next season knowing he's got a 35-win team, but the owner thinks they should win 50 when they're not going to.
Well, this is what we agree on, and I don't even want to say we disagree there. You woke up, you've been out, and you were like, you know, the Steve Kerr news, tell me if I'm speaking wrong for you, you kind of expected something to be concluded, right? A decision.
Yeah, but it's like not a brain surgery. Steve Kerr said, I'm going to take a week or 2. It's now coming up on 3 weeks. So I'm just asking the question, what's going on with Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors right now? And we'll get into some of this sound.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to interpret the length of time. I actually don't think it's a bad thing. I think it probably means he's more likely to come back, but I don't know that I'd put any money on that.
Right.